Uh, Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us today once again for another webinar from on behalf of Casio that we have for you today. My name is Abhishek, and I take care of marketing for Casio EMI. And today we are here along with Mr. Abraham Samuel George, and we'll be talking about musical examinations. Now, this in particular is a topic that we get a lot of queries on, and it is a very hot topic. A lot of people have a lot of questions on it. A lot of people, demand to know a lot of answers on it. That how are Casio keyboards suitable for any particular grade examinations? And we have with us, Mr. Abraham, who basically is a very talented teacher and based out of Kerala. So he will also share some tips along with us that how to basically go about musical examination preps, where to begin, how to choose the right musical examination or the grades, the tips and tricks to select pieces, and of course, how Casio keyboards are compatible to these examinations. Right. So, without further ado, I would like to basically add and introduce Mr. Abraham Samuel George, who is currently waiting with us. Uh, so, hi, Abraham.
Hi, Abhishek. Good evening.
Hi. You are doing fine, man.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. So,
Right. So, you
another
are,
exciting
when it comes to our viewers, we were holding a third webinar along with you. And this today, our topic is a very hot topic that we have taken today. That how, what's the importance of musical examinations, basically everything that we need to go about it. So, without further ado, I'd just like to hand over the webinar to you, and I'd like you to take it away right from the top. All right,
Yeah,
man?
Abhishek. Yeah, that's a wonderful topic we have taken this time because, I don't know whether you know about this thing. Uh, India is one of the biggest markets for examination, musical examination around the world. They are all around the world, and I think Trinity Examinations has having the biggest center in the world in India. So just like that, every examination board is actually having a good thing, good share of percentage of their marketing, their things with India. So we are one good place, one good people who can actually talk about this.
Okay. So
Yeah.
handing it over to you. You
Thank
please.
you.
Thank you.
All right. So it's a wonderful evening today, and I'm really glad to talk to you about the music examinations because this is something which I've been doing for last, I think, 18 years. Music examinations with all the examination boards, also with the pianos. Like I teach piano also, so from ABRSM to London College of Music, Trinity College of Music examinations, and it's rock and pop for the keyboards, and also a rock school music examinations. So this is a one good, really good topic that always people actually asking me, and yeah, this just like you see on the screen now. Why to take a musical examination? Why are they important? And this is one question like people always ask, and I would like to start from that. The primary thing I just want to tell you is that always an examination is something that actually assess you. You might be learning music for a long time. You've been finished a lot of books. You have performed on many stages, but unless you do an examination, like there is there is nothing that you can say that I have been reached to this level. Obviously, you don't need an examination certificate to show that, but to make a standards or to assess yourself and compare yourself with others, or to any level when you are appearing for a job, you're appearing for a course, you need a certificate for that. So there are examination boards, just like I said, the ABRSM, Trinity College of Music, London College of Music, Rock Schools of Music, and all the examination boards are actually giving you the perfect assessment of what standards you have been to, and that is the primary importance of that. Second thing is that it gives you a kind of motivation. Like if you don't have examinations, I've seen in many students in my teaching career that if I give them a piece of music and I give them technical exercises, They know, like, unless they don't have to perform it somewhere, it's just like a lesson, then they don't be much serious about it. If they know that they have to perform this before an examiner, and they will be getting marks for that, and if they will be getting assessed for that same thing, definitely they will be more serious about it, and the perfection is completely different. I have tried this just on a comparison basis also. The students who doesn't want to do the exam, there are some students who doesn't want to do the examination because of many reasons. Probably they might not be available at the time of examination or something like that. So I have seen the difference between both the students who are doing exams and not doing exams. Those who are doing the exams will be very serious to finish it at the earliest, and also will be very serious to know about each and every detail of it. Like, you talk about the dynamics, you talk about the articulation of the piece, you talk about the timing, the tempo, the accuracy of notes, and the way they memorize too. So the many things that comes in act when you compare with the students who are doing exams and those not doing exams. So that is something which I just want to like point out. So definitely I want you to encourage to do, like, I encourage you to do some exams. It doesn't matter which examination board, but at least one of the exams you should do in your lifetime as a musician. And also the teachers actually encourage you for that, because of many reasons. Like, once you do an examination, that's what I've seen. If you do an examination, and the next year definitely you will come and tell us, like, we want to do the second exams too. It is not because, like, the teacher is actually prompting you to do that, but you have found yourself like a standard, like I'm set into a standard, and definitely I just want to continue with that. So this is one of the reasons, like, why we should take an examination. So, and also it depends on what examination you want to take. So the way in which you are learning actually matters. So it matters, like, it depends on your teacher. The teacher might be teaching from one examination board, and he always will be promoting you to that. So it doesn't matter. Like, there are many teachers in the country itself who teaches for all the examination boards. So they will be giving you the choices of doing that. It depends on the centers also. Some of the places doesn't have centers for all the examination boards. So then you won't be having a choice for all those. But now what happens is, now, like, from 2021, luckily after the corona or the COVID-19, the people are actually opted for online examinations, and the examination boards are giving online exams for any student from any part of the world. So that is one advantage that you have now. So taking an examination is a very important thing, which you require at least once. I don't say that you should do all the exams on a stretch, but at least one or two should be done to check how well you progress and what standards you are. All right, I'm just going into the second question, that second point which I want to tell you. How do you know which grade to appear for, or which musical examination board to choose? And this is something, it depends upon how much you have learned. This is again talking from my experience. Like, I have an institution, and where we have more than 1,000 students approximately. So and it is a public center for two of the examination boards. So I have seen some of the students, like students in the sense, like, they are not kids, they are of the working class people. They might come to us and say that I've been playing guitar, or I've been playing keyboard, piano for this long years, 10 years, 15 years. So I just want to do an examination. Now, when you appear for an examination, remember, it is not just only checking your playing skills. There are certain syllabuses that you have to follow. And some people are good in playing the pieces. They can play the pieces by ear. But for an examination, you need to play by sight, or you should learn by sight at least. So you can learn, you can see the notations, and you can play. So playing the Western notation or learning the Western notation is a very important thing. Only then you'll be able to do an examination. Or else what happens is, you might like learning by ear is not an appropriate way. At the same time, you miss many details. And obviously there will be a question regarding the sight reading or something related to the notations, and you'll be fumbling at that. So the basic and the most important thing is that you should learn the Western notations, and then you progress with that with your instrument, and then you come to an examination center or to an examination teacher, like a teacher who teaches for music exams. You come to the teacher, and the teacher will assess you, and depending upon your quality, like what grade. Sometimes your pieces learning piece the skill for learning pieces would be really good. I think I would say that you are of a grade 5 standards in playing pieces, but your technical ability, like technical exercises like scales and arpeggios, or there could be studies and things like that, that is to like only up to grade 2. Then you won't be able to appear for a grade 5 exams then, because you have to have both the skills together for the examination. So that's what I said at the beginning. You should have a qualification or a quality good enough for the standards of the syllabus of each examination board. And next, the second part of that question, which musical examination board you have to choose. Now, it depends upon what kind of music you are liking. Are you liking a completely modern music like rock and pop and things like that, or you just need only accompaniment music, or sometimes you will be liking only to play and not just only, you like more melodies music and some standard professional music, which the classic, which is actually extracted from classical music or things like that, and or you just need a balance of both. So it depends upon examination to examination. So you just need only complete rock music, and you have to opt for rock and pop from the Trinity or rock school London. So and the other examination board, you just have to need a mix of a bit of pop music, classical music, and the contemporary music, a mix of all whole. Then you should go for London College of Music or Trinity College of Music exams, keyboard examination. So this is how the examination boards are going on. So the validity of all the examination boards are similar. Everybody has the certification from the OQFAL, and you get a certificate for that same thing. So that doesn't make any difference. The only thing is that what kind of music you're liking for, then you should opt for the examination. And probably the teacher would be suggesting you this one, you should go for this one. Now this looks good for you because your kind of playing is in this style. You focus more on the pop music, you focus more on the cordial playing, you play more kind of accompaniment and worship music or things like that. So that is what being assessed by the teacher, and you be sent for that. All right, so that is how you go for a musical examination. Now this is a very valid question. Which keyboard should I take for the musical examination? Now we're talking in the perspective of keyboard examinations. Now, this is a very vital question because some students are going for examinations in a public center. In a public center, what happens is like you will be allotted with the keyboard that is available on the center, or a keyboard which is available somewhere, like somebody, the previous student candidate to you has played and you're just playing on it, which is a very bad idea. On a keyboard examination, I always suggest students, even though we have keyboards at our school, and for examinations, I prefer them to use their own keyboard. And sometimes the students won't be able to carry their own keyboard for the examination. Then like what I do is that I have a common keyboard for students who are just not bringing the keyboards, but we will make sure that everything what they require is there in that keyboard. For example, a student who is doing a grade 6, 7, or 6 or 7, they definitely require more than 4 registration memories. So a keyboard with 8 registration memory is a compulsory thing for a grade 6 to 8 levels on advanced level. So on a grade 1 to 5, that is not a must. So that is one thing. Also, when it comes to grade 8, so every examination board has one or the other way require the expression pedal. Someone require it for the vibratos or things like that you on the keyboard. Some people require it for the volume. Excuse me. Excuse me. Yeah. So the expression pedal is a compulsory thing that you require. Also, the sustain pedal, obviously. On a grade 1 level, you don't need a sustain pedal. So what I do is that I'll keep keyboards, separate keyboards for all the grades. Like in grade 1 to 3, a keyboard, 4 to 5, a different keyboard, 6 to 7, a different keyboard, and probably for the grade 8, another keyboard. So why I categorize this like this? Because I used to save their like the pieces they are taking, and the tones will be saved with the expressions and the effects that they require into each registration banks, so they can come and take the banks, open the bank, just like we take on this CTX 9000 IN. That's what the keyboard. Okay, I think you can't see the keyboard which I'm using now. This is CTX 9000 IN, the latest keyboard from Casio. It's one of the best keyboards in the market. So just like this keyboard, we just I use this keyboard for the examination students, so I know it. What we do is that we put the pieces they select and put it into registration banks. All they have to do is that just open the bank and take the pieces, which take the banks, and which will be named there. Like this is the name of, for example, they used to have a piece like A Night in Tunisia. This is a graded piece from the Trinity. So I just like put that, and all the registration memories will be appropriate for that, and just take it. So just like that, not just registration memory alone, not just the pedal alone, you require 4 variations for an advanced level. So you need 4 variations. You need to have this portamento effect at some time. So and these functions are actually requiring for a keyboard. So make sure you have the proper equipment for the examination in the examination hall. All right. So that's a very important thing. Also, make sure you practice with that. Much of the students, what happens is like they don't have a proper keyboard to practice at home, and they come to the examination center. Probably the examination center would be having the best keyboards, but back at home they won't be able to practice with that. So what the teacher tells you, what the teacher advises you to practice, you should have a proper equipment to practice back at home, because this all lies on the practice. It's not just only like reading a book won't help you for the music examination. It's only performing on the stage, performing on before examiner. So make sure you have the proper equipment to practice and to perform for the examination. So that is very important. And I think you can ask questions after this. Once I said this thing, you be given with the time for asking questions. So what are things you can bring into it? So one thing which I can tell you is, like, for the Trinity examination for higher level, there are options for improvising. I think the newest syllabus is slightly different, not just improvising part, but there were a few other things in the previous syllabuses, just like giving images, composing music from nothing. So you have the option to create your own beats. You have the options to create your own rhythms. And I've seen examiners are wondering at the talents of students, those who create a lot of new things for the examination, because they have given with a choice like that. You are given with 8 bars or 16 bars to improvise. So you can put in the multi-part function. You can just use anything that you want to add on those section, which is allowed to improvise in from the music. So remember, you can explore the keyboard and exploit all the possibilities for an examination, because the examiner is actually looking for that. Most of the examinations nowadays are bringing or upgrading the syllabus in that way, so that it is not just only focusing on what is exactly written in the book. There is also some room for improvising. So definitely you require a proper equipment for all those things. Now, I'm just stopping there and going to the next part. Next thing which I want to share here is how to select pieces for examination. Now, always the keyboards, for the examination, you'll be having 7 to 8 pieces in your handbook. People just wonder. This is again happening for students who are not guided properly, or students who doesn't have a proper teacher, or going to a public center. Or sometimes the teacher is giving you the handbook and just asking you to tell us your choices about the pieces that you want to perform. Now, how do you select a piece? Again, it depends. It depends on primarily the thing, how your playability. uh, on every section, some examination boards will be divided into A, B, C category. You should select one piece from A, to one piece from B, and one piece from C. And not all examination boards are like that. You can have the choices between them. So in that case, even in that case, not all the pieces in a group will be hard. One of the pieces will be easier, one will be a medium range, one will be harder. So that is how it's been categorized in each section. If you are sure that you can't do the hardest one, just go for the lowest, or the easiest in sense, comparatively easiest or the medium, at an average toughness, and pick according to your choice. Don't go and try the extreme hardest so that you get, like, you don't think that you get more marks for that. Obviously it has more marks, but the thing is, like, making perfect the easiest one, and compare that with the making a mistake on a harder, would be always like the easiest would be having an upper hand, because like you have done perfectly the easiest one, but on the other side you have made wrong. So mistakes will always cost marks. So remember, try for the first one. So if you're planning for an examination 1 year in advance and you're getting the handbook 1 year in advance, definitely you have enormous time for that, because learning a piece would take only 1 month or 1.5 months maximum. So by that time you'll be able to, like, you have learned the easiest piece and you found that I can do a little more harder than this, then you can go for that. So do the easiest ones first from all the groups, and then you can slightly, like, one or the two other groups, you can go for a little more advanced, so that makes a balance. So always look at your skill and your level of playing and your practice. This all depends on the practice. It's not just depend upon how much skill you have at the beginning. It depends upon how much time you spend for practice. So selecting a piece is a very important thing. So that is one mistake many of the students actually make. Also, some of the teachers actually think, like, don't give pieces for, like, this is a tip for the teachers I just want to tell you, like, just from my experience, and I've seen from many senior musicians, they have done the same thing in India and across the world. What they do is that they give pieces, separate pieces for different students, and the technical exercise will be the same for all. So what happens is, like, with that is, like, you identify each student and their capability, and eventually what helps is that, like, you can give what they can digest, or else what happens is you serve the same food for all the people, so which won't be digestible for all. So that is why I just pointed out, like, you should know what pieces you actually take. All right. And some people don't like the classical music. Some people just like only pop music. So you have still choices on 3 groups too. Just take only pop that you want. All right. Now, and the continuation to that, should a student select scales or arpeggios or study for technical exercise? And this is much relevant when it comes to the higher grades like 6, 7, and 8. Now, technical exercise, or what it is said in Trinity is called exercise, and in London College of Music they call it a study. And what they mean is that it is again a piece. It is again a piece with technical skills, which requires much skills to practice. Now, straight away coming into the point, I prefer students to do the scales and arpeggios. If you want to finish your career with a grade 8 or something like that, you don't have to progress more than that, because you're not going to play music anymore. If that is the case, then just select study, because that brings you more knowledge, for sure, because study requires more knowledge. Like, you need to know this is what incorporated into the study, or something like that. But for technical exercise practice, that is a daily practice requirement. because you need to practice scales and arpeggios, contrary, chromatic. Even in scales, you play that in straight and swing, and all those things. A broken chord. All these things should be practiced every single day. It is not just practicing once in a while. While in case of a study, that is a piece of music. You are learning it with that technical aspects of bringing in technical trills and stuff like that. What I'm saying is not like study is not a bad thing, and technical exercises, scales and arpeggios is having upper hand. It's not like that. I'll come to it. Study the technical exercise like scales and arpeggios first, and once you're well versed with that, try the studies also. That makes some sense. The point is like, this is your finger dexterity, because when you play on the keyboard, the hands should be active all the time. You should be able to play anything and everything all the time. Whatever is asked to you. If I'm asking you to play a D major scale, then the fingers should be ready to play that. Or if I'm asking you to play something from your own improvisation, your mind would say that, but your hands won't allow it. The reason is your fingers are not ready to play it. So the primary thing is that you should learn the scales and arpeggios for sure. That is a very basic thing that any musician, any instrument requires. Now, coming to the study part, yes, it is important, but only for those who have done this thing. For an examination, this is a choice, like either the study or the technical exercises. But while you learn, I always prefer to, like, if that is a choice, then leave the study aside for a while. You can do that even later. But technical exercise, if you don't do at the time of learning, you won't do at any time, because that requires a steady practice. It's a stage by stage and developing your fingers, and it's a growth process. And that happens only if you're asking me, are you practicing scales and arpeggios just like I did when I was doing the piano or keyboard exams, or when I was studying that? No, I'm not doing it, because I can play the scales and arpeggios now, but I don't have time for that. This is what happens. Like when you are dedicated yourself for a study, you will be doing it. That is one advantage of examinations, because you have to do this and you need to practice for this much hours to make that perfect. And technical exercise helps you to do that, and that helps you to develop in your future studies, future playing also. And if I would have done the study, then my fingers wouldn't be going. I can always play some pieces. I won't be improvising it. So for somebody who just want to improvise, somebody who just want to create something, all the creativity lies on the basics, and the basics lies on the scales and arpeggios and broken chord and contraries and chromatic motion. This is the root. That is a structure that you require to build on. Studies are another piece of music which has taken the elements from the technical exercises. So you would be knowing this is a knowledgeable thing. This is an academic thing, not a practical thing. So I prefer scales and arpeggios for students, but sometimes now, why there are instances when I prefer to have the studies for students. It is like some students who have coming for examination at an older age, like after 35 to 40 years of age, they know to play the keyboard. They can play the pieces, but they can't play the technical exercises, because at a younger age, the technical exercise it is easy to learn the technical exercises. But at an older age, it is slightly hard for you to master on the technical exercises. In that age, I always prefer to go for study, because at that age, I'm sure that you won't be able to do the technical exercises perfectly and pass an examination. But you can, and your strength lies in playing the pieces. So this is the better option, is to go for the study. And some people doesn't like the skills, technical exercise at all, because they just want to play music, and that's all. Not improvising. They play for themselves, or that, like, they don't want to become a professional musician. It is just the part-time thing, or doing just for fun or as a hobby. So for those people, study is a good option. So that is how my personal suggestion is all about for studies and technical exercises. And finally, one thing I want to discuss with you is that this is something which I just want to share it from the famous book of these music exams from the Clara Taylor, who was the chief examiner for ABRSM, and she was one legend in this area who always researches on how the students takes exams. I've read many of her quotes too, and her book always actually that is a good book that you can also look at. It's called These Music Exams from Clara Taylor, written. Yeah, she was examiner for ABRSM. Now, on the day of examination, people usually get nervous because of many reasons. If you're a first-time student, you won't be knowing what's going to happen for the exam. You don't know how to face an examiner. You won't be knowing what happens there. Like it's basically students who are like almost made it. I'm not 100% perfect, but I can play that. If you're of that standards, then definitely you're going to be nervous. But I just want to tell you that you don't have to be nervous. The reason, this is a tip. The examiner doesn't know you. That is the first thing. You are one another candidate for the examination. So the examiner is seeing a lot of students. He or she is not knowing you personally. What the examiner is looking for from you is that whatever you play, for that he or she is going to write the marks for. Okay, so you don't have to be nervous that the examiner knows me in advance and he or she knows my mistakes. The mistakes that I made as a student is just my own. Probably my teacher would know it. The examiner doesn't know it. So what I should look is that I should cover all my mistakes and I should go and perform without any mistakes. I know sometimes you might have some slips, and if you're sure that it's happening because of nervousness, you can ask the examiner, can I do that again? Don't ask for everything and anything, but like something like you made a mistake. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. You feel like, oh, I could have done that better. So you can ask the examiner, can I do that one more time? Because I think I can do that better. Take a deep breath, sit in front of the keyboard, do it again, you will win. Okay, so what I tell my students on the final day of the examination, I tell them like, the examiner has come here because you paid the fees, and the examiner, he's here to assess you. It's not to judge you. Unless you play something, the examiner can't give you the marks. So it is all you have to think is about how to play, not to think about the examiner, not to think about the examination board, not to think about anything happening outside. Focus only on what you can do. If you have done that, then the examiner is ready to give you marks, because no examiner is coming to take away marks. The examiner is coming to give you marks. At what point can I give marks? What is good thing that I can see from this person? That is what the examiner is looking for. So that all the examiners are like, that is what you see in the examination too. The examiner would welcome you with a nice smile, probably. Sometimes if the examiner is too busy, there are like people, what I was telling is like the examiner is happy to see you, not just examiner is just like going to judge you. So make sure you are not that nervous. All right? Okay. So now I'm just leaving it to you if you have any questions, because I can just proceed with that. Which CTX keyboards to buy?
Right, Abraham. So basically, I wanted to also touch upon this particular topic, that since we're talking about musical examinations and CTX, so we also wanted to, highlight that which keyboards are actually the best keyboards that you can buy, and they'll be relevant for the musical examinations. So just to give the features over the top, that almost all of our keyboards are suitable up till grade 5, that even a CTX 700 or a CTX 870, CTX 8000, 9000, they're all suitable up till grade 5 for sure, because they have all the required features that are required as per the examination. And I also want to add that CTX 9000, however, is a special case because it, in some cases, can be used even up beyond grade 6, maybe. It depends on the pieces that you're taking. It depends on the on what kind of songs that you'll be playing. But it mostly basically has all the features that are required even for higher grades, because it's got features like four rhythm variations and fills, and you've got the capability to connect two pedals. Of course, you've got a modulation button, because and it can be assigned as well. So it is a very good value add for someone who's looking to not just play for the examinations, but if you also want to, basically perform somewhere, or you want to basically record, so these keyboards are perfect for utilization of the same. And if you're just looking for a simple keyboard, and you don't want to, you want to basically take it as you go, so you don't know which keyboard you want to stick with the examinations, you don't want to go for the examinations, it is not a rocket science decision. All you can do is, suppose you are a beginner and you want to start with either a debut grade or a grade 1, simply buy a CTS keyboard or a CTK keyboard. They will definitely help you at least clearing those exams. If you choose to learn higher grades, or if you want to perform more, then you can opt for better keyboards in the future, which will probably be 1 or 2 years later. And if you feel that's it, and you want to give your musical journey a halt right there, then you don't have to spend that much to basically go straight ahead for CTX 8000 or 9000. So my point being that you have to choose and decide as per your intentions. If you're very, your intent is to basically learn keyboards no matter what, and you want to keep on playing for at least 3 to 4 years or maybe more, and you want to become a professional musician, we really urge you to go and take your hands on a CTX 9000 or an 8000, because it will definitely satisfy that need. However, if you're just learning for the hobby, if you just want to play in front of family and friends, then you really don't want to take that seriously. If you're just learning for the certificate, if you're learning for an added skill, we highly recommend that you go for a CTX 870 or a 700 iron, because that will justify that purpose. So basically, just wrapping this evening up, we've had a wonderful and a more very informative session today. We've covered a lot of basics about musical examinations, and these were some questions that a lot of people used to ask us. We've had a lot of events where people come up to us and say and ask all these questions, and sometimes some teachers also have some doubts regarding that, explaining these questions to people, that why you should learn any musical grade examinations, what's in it for students, and which grade to choose and how to select pieces. So all of this hopefully is very useful information, and we hope our viewers will be enlightened, and they will be they will get some good useful information out of this. And I would also like to recommend that, in case we have not basically touched upon any topic or any question which is unanswered, we'd just like everybody to just comment in below the video. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, doesn't matter, just comment, and we'll definitely try to get back to each one of you. So once again, thank you so much, Abraham, for your time this evening. We've had a wonderful, session here, and we hope to see many more of these along with you. Thank you so much, Abraham.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Abhishek.
Thank you.